Hi everyone, and today we're going to be looking at the next assignment, which is due on the 4th of May, which is still about a fortnight away, I think. So what we're going to look at is what you need to do for this assignment, and we're going to look through the subject outline obviously and see what you need to do. Okay, so this is a critical reflection on leadership and facilitation of student assessments in practice. So what does that mean? What you need to do is you need to identify your own leadership style, and there is information about this in the modules and in other readings that are in those modules. So thinking about what sort of leader you are, and thinking about how that works in your clinical practice, whatever that may be, in assisting or in fact hindering assessments with students in your clinical practice. So you might say you find it you're an authoritarian leader, and there will be particular things that are or particular issues that are going to be a problem for that. You might, or autocratic, you might talk about yourself as being a transformational leader, and where you're transforming those students from, you know, they come in and they're inspired by your leadership style in facilitating their assessments. You might be a transactional leader. So have a think about what sort of leader you are, and work out the sort of leadership style that you demonstrate with your students that you lead in facilitation, or think about how you've mentored other nurses or other health physios or radiologists, radiographers, sonographers in the past, depending on your health profession. So have a think about how you've undertaken your mentoring, and when you've shown things, have a think about that. Then you need to explore the factors that could create a supportive learning environment that may assist the students' motivation to learn, and how your leadership style may assist or hinder a student's learning experience. And this is what I was talking about, that there are pros and cons, if you like, to each leadership style. Have a think about how your leadership style impacts upon student learning with you, but you don't see it, for example, with someone else, because this helps you in working out ways in which you can change to assist your student learning. And it's also good for personal development. Then you need to reflect upon your own knowledge and skills in relation to continuing professional development in regards to assessment skills. So other assessment skills that you need to think about are things like how you're doing assessment. Do you do group assessment? How do you find you are in that sort of environment, whether there's work-based teams, that sort of thing. So individual assessment. So have a think about how much do you know about different ways of assessing and different sorts of assessment. And obviously the first assignment sets you up for different sorts of assessment. Now let's look at the criteria. I'll move my box. So what we're going to be looking for here is we're going to be looking for identifies relevant leadership style and demonstrates application to the facilitation of learning. So what you're going to be wanting to do there is go into the leadership and management literature and have a look at the different leadership styles and discuss how so identify your style with one you find in the literature. Then go and have a look at how that impacts upon student learning. So clearly when you look at it here, you're going to you'll get a high distinction if you comprehensively address all aspects of your own leadership style and demonstrate how the application of that style in relation to the facilitation of student learning experiences, how that works. So it's really about looking at the dynamics of your style with basically student learning experiences. And you might find that you have students that are range at different levels in your health profession. Have a think about how different students react and think about that. Now remember, you are using the literature for this, so you'll go into the literature and identify, say you decide you're a transactional leader, go into the literature, find papers you should find papers on CINAHL and whatnot, as well as ebooks in the library on leadership styles, as well as stuff in the modules. So then you need to think about how that relationship of your leadership style works with students, and think about different sorts of students. So the next criteria is identifies relevant factors that affect the learning environment. So have a think about this, because you might find that there are you've really got to sit and think about the learning environment that you're in. And think about, so for example, if you're a registered nurse, learning may be impacted upon by, for example, busyness and the amount of time that you have for your particular students to get time with you versus undertaking tasks. If you're a sonographer, you might find that the learning environment is impacted by the anxiety. Say your main area is undertaking ultrasounds for pregnant women, and so you might find that anxiety about the baby's health is a problem for the student learning in that particular situation, because in that scenario, what you will find is, of course, it's difficult to demonstrate, say as a sonographer, all the points of, so the heart chamber, while you've got an anxious mother and potentially father at the table. So I want you to think about those sorts of things. Now, if you're a physio, you've got other factors, or a pharmacist, so on and so forth. Okay, so, and then I want you to draw, where possible, I want you to go back to the literature and have a look at it, see if there's anything further in the literature that looks at that provides some, concrete basis for you to be able to refer to. Okay, applies critical thinking skills of analysis, synthesis, evaluation, logic rather than opinion is used to convey the content. So this is where you want to be putting, while it's clearly about your own style, please ensure that you are writing it in a manner that is about the the paper. So you're trying to analyze your own style and what the literature says about that, and what you can achieve and what you can't achieve. Rather than defending your behavior, for example, look at the literature and think about how you could more effectively um, you know, more effectively undertake the teaching and facilitation and assessing students in your situation. Okay, and then we've got reflects upon known knowledge and skills and demonstrates continuing professional development, provides evidence to support the same. So what you're doing is here you're really you're providing some personal, so you're a bit of a background about your particular style and the knowledge and skills, and then you're demonstrating continuing professional development by thinking about how you could improve upon that style. Okay, so that evidence will be demonstrative, but demonstrated in the paper, because we'll be able to see that you are able to look at your style and be able to look at how that influences both the environment and the student assessment and teaching. All right, style and presentation, APA, you know all this stuff. Now, what I will say to you is, don't worry about the Turnitin report. We will be running it through. It's just seemed easier to do that at this point. Okay, so don't worry about that. Now, presentation, as with all assignments, please make sure it's well presented. Most of you have done that. Don't worry about the Turnitin, as I've just said. I hope this has been helpful for you, and it's a critical reflection piece leading on after your previous paper, which is being marked as we speak. Okay, so I hope that you have learned a bit from your first assignment as you wrote it. You'll learn a bit from this assignment as you write it. But the other thing I'd like to say to you is, after you've put this assignment in, that will be it, and you will be finished in this subject. So well done for getting this far. All right, and we'll speak with you later. Bye.